My people, how deeply I have cherished you all for what seems so very, very long now. But alas, all great times must come to an end, and this is it. This last experience video will effectively be my final video, mandated theme related video, for the initiative as acting director, at least in this capacity. I will still be the director, in title and in placement, in position and in devotion. I will still be the director. You're going to have to kill me to take that from me. However, somebody else is going to have to be appointed acting director in my stead, as I will no longer be available for the most part to take, conduct the duties that I have been. It was intended that our premier experiencer, Miguel Angel, would replace me as he is qualified and capable and for the most part has the necessary values. But he is not quite ready for it. He requires more training and he's not really ready to accept the burden of that sort of responsibility. It's a very challenging role. Um, it can be dangerous in ways to your emotional self. It's 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 tiresome. It takes a lot of devotion and patience, and that is in fact the primary value that's required to qualify for this position. Is that passion, that motivation to devote yourself to this, and you do have to forfeit other aspects of your life in order to put forth the time and the effort and the care that's required to do this. Not many of you are aware, I suppose, but there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening that you just don't see. The initiative page is the faceplate for this, and you guys, posters, people who post, you're intended to be the representatives for what we're doing. But what we are doing is stretches on great ways behind it. And when I talk to you guys one on one via Messenger, I am talking to most of you at the same time all the time. I really don't do much of anything else anymore, but try to help you guys, try to deal with your issues. Just be a good friend if that's all that's required. Just put forth time to be there for you and to take the opportunities I have to direct you and to coordinate you. And I am providing direction. You may not be aware of it a lot of the time, but I am providing you with values and directions, instructions that are helping to coordinate you all in a manner that fitting our requirements. We need to get this thing moving, and for the most part, I'm intending to try and motivate you guys and get you going here. Try to get you guys to help motivate each other, and it's been working out pretty well. We hit some snags and go back and forth, but in any case, Miguel will not be able to take up the role just yet. He'll continue his training. I'm going to place him on the lead of the psychedelics expedition, the Remnants of Tomorrow project. That's going to be his baby. He's going to retrain everyone. He's going to run the team. It's going to be his deal altogether. Unfortunately, I still have to go. I'm thoroughly embroiled in paths leading elsewhere, and I have people that have invested in me being there and doing this. And in fact, it's a big win for the initiative. I'm uh, running work for both campaigns at work now. AT&T is pushing communication, and they are really genuinely trying to make up for faults in the past. So I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a good deal. I wouldn't be selling it if it wasn't a good deal. I'm trying to help you guys out here with that. Not you guys specifically, just people in general. I'm AT&T's good is what I'm saying. It's a good thing, but uh, the clean energy campaign, that's actually something that we need to do. That's something I'm causal in and have a passion for, and it needs to get done. It's a big win for the initiative that I'm able to fight for that. So it's something that I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing. Of course, if I have a signal, I'm yours. I belong to you guys always. My heart and soul belongs to you. So if I have a signal and you need anything, I'm here for you always, and I will do my very best to put forth every second of time that I have toward that. But a lot of the time, I'm going to be cut off and unavailable. So I'll be placing you in the exceptionally capable hands of our old friend but new operator, Madam K, or Special K, as we know her, who will be conducting my role for the most part, doing what she can to keep up with that. She is very capable. I trained her. I'm continuing to train her. She's thoroughly capable of taking up that role, and I have, every faith that she's going to manage it properly and do an exceptional job with that. In any case, many of you shared this past 2 weeks a lot of your personal experiences with me, and a lot of them had great values that could affect great change in people and do great things and could help people. And when I ask you to post things, or when you say you're going to post things, if you do post them when you're supposed to, which is whenever you do, whenever you happen to go ahead and post them, it turns out to be the right time. It always does. And in fact, I take those propositions and I run with them, and I plan far, far ahead, and I coordinate people in such a way as to you know, have a kind of a web work of relationships happening here that all affect each other in a certain way. And so when you propose to share something like that experience, I've already set something up for that to be as effective as possible for as many people as possible at that time. And then when you don't share it, that doesn't happen. And that plan goes to shit. So, a lot of you expressed that you were looking forward though to me sharing your experiences here in this final video. As I told you that in the final experience video, I'll be sharing, speaking to the experiences you guys have shared to me, and a lot of you expressed that you'd really like to see me do that. But again, you didn't post them when you said you were going to, and I counted on you doing that. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you is not that. I'm going to not share them, and the values of those experiences, the changes that they could have affected, all the great things that could have come of that, and all the good you could have done is going to have been wasted at this time, for the most part. For this time, of course, you could always share them late, and who knows, take a pot shot and see what happens. But as of right now, all the great experiences that you guys had that were so valuable have gone to waste. Now, the people that did share experiences, you did a hell of a job, and I thank you. I'm so grateful that you did that. The whole initiative is grateful that you did that. You did a lot of good, and as I said, there's a lot happening that even the directive is unaware of, that I relate to, many of our members on a daily basis, and I see what's happening with them, and I can tell you that when you guys share these things, especially those experiences, that was a big deal. You really hit some home runs there. You did a lot of good, and I'm really proud of you guys for doing that. And it just was amazing. And in fact, we had a huge jump in our productivity. I suppose you could say we all got together and coordinated based on our shared experiences over these past 2 weeks. And DA team has now become the directive, which I have high hopes for. And so far, they've been doing an excellent job. They're all fantastic people, and I think they're really going to kick ass here. And we're gonna show you guys something special, make some big changes. Um, when we're ready, when I believe that our team is coordinated enough, we'll be moving on to a greater stage, dealing with other initiatives and building a larger network. And as I said, we're going to come under some serious scrutiny, but I believe you guys are prepped for it. That you're all good people and you can manage it, and just take my directions under advisement, and everything will be smooth sailing. I can promise that. What I will tell you about is my experience as director of the initiative. When this started, when it actually got off the ground and started, um, I had been hurt pretty bad. Now, whatever relationships that I get into, if they're, passionate relationships, even if they're not romantic, even if they're just friendly relationships, or if it's a student, somebody that I really invest my teaching into and myself, my faith into, um, or a romantic relationship, you know, it always seems to run the same way when it's a real heavy hitter like that. It always seems to run the same way, especially with romantic relationships. I'll meet a girl and we'll hit it off. We'll pretty much fall for each other straight up right off the get, and it'll be hot and heavy. It'll be really, really hot and heavy in the beginning, and for a while it'll keep it at that pace. And you know that obviously the romantic relationships. I'm not going to be modest about it. It's because I'm fairly good looking and I'm amazing in bed. So relationship carries on that way, and it's hot and heavy for a little while. But I'm also a very loyal person, and again, I'm devoted to what I'm loyal to. And when I meet a girl, if I've taken a girl out somewhere, if I've taken you out and I've like spent money on you or even invested an amount of time on you, if I've kissed you, if I've taken you to bed, I've already fallen in love. I'm not going to take things that far and invest that much into it if I haven't decided that you're somebody I want to be with already. I used to be kind of a slut, promiscuous person, but not anymore. Nowadays, and especially this past year, if I'm with somebody, I'm with them. I have every intention of making that last. And so I tend to become a boring person. The relationship steadies out and it becomes, very clinical, very kind of boring relationship. And most girls want drama around the bend and they don't get it from me. And so somebody else will come along and, provide them a tad more excitement, be it a new person that's, fun in that way. And they'll stray from me every time. And there's only one time that I've ever actually held on and let things work. And that work turned out to be, the biggest, longest lasting, and most important relationship of my entire life. But since then, after that relationship, if you strayed from me in that way, that bridge is burned. There's no going back from there. And so, that's the end of it in that capacity. We're all still friends. We all still work together for the most part, save one girl, which has been the last one. Uh, of course, I almost immediately fell in love again after the last time, and I have a tendency to do that. I'm a very diehard, hopeless romantic. Most of you know that, and I tend to fall in love a lot when I meet somebody I like. But that went south too, and that was sabotaged. That relationship, it went bad because it was sabotaged, and it led to further occurrences down the line that led to where we are now. It all turned out to have a brilliant silver lining, though. But as I was saying, when this started out, I was hurt by having lost somebody that was important to me. This time it was a student that I really invested a lot into and cared deeply for and was putting a lot into and really had very high hopes for this to turn out and to give this person everything that I could give them and see them fucking skyrocket. But same kind of scenario. Somebody else came along and attracted their attention, and we parted ways, and we had a falling out this time. This person was one of. I never had a bad falling out with anybody that I've been in a solid relationship with, in that, and by that standard, in this way. It's a first for me. Never had somebody break off and we weren't friends. But eventually we became friends again. Everything worked out fine in the end, but in the end, so insofar as now is concerned, everything's working out. But um, for a time there, we were kind of at each other's throats. We had a problem with each other, and then we were creating serious problems for each other. And it was a difficult scenario, and I was very hurt by it. I was extremely hurt. This is that person that when I lose them, it's heartbreaking, and I mean, crack me open and pour me out. I was broken. I was done, and I was hurt so bad. All I could do was call out, and I did. I started writing poetry, and I started posting it. And I started writing my thoughts on it. And before long, people were pouring into this page, 30 to 80 people at a time were requesting membership. It was very cool, and I felt really good about it. And as they came along, I met them, one after another. I met most of them, and I'm talking with them on Messenger. And mind you, this is the first time I've ever had Messenger. This past year is the first time I've ever had internet. Period. I've never done anything like this before. Never made videos. I've never spoken to an audience. I've never published works. I've never dealt with people in a social. I've never really dealt with people even as friends in any sort of relationship, social settings. This is all the first time. But as I've also said, something happened there just before this began, that an accident happened that I'll talk about at a later time because it's a subject of a different video matter actually. And I will still be making videos, just not mandated theme related videos. I'll be doing the best I can to make whatever I can for you guys, but I can't, at this point, I cannot promise anything beyond, a week or so in advance. I can't see that far right now because things are unsteady. But and I have no plans of making any specific videos within the next week, so I can't really tell you anything except that I'm going to do my best to produce for you guys whatever I feel is necessary. And the world will provide all that's needed, and the world will provide me the direction that I require in order to know when's best to do that and what. But in any case, I called out for help and I received an answer from the world. It felt very good to get to know all of you guys. It felt very good to build these relationships. And again, it was all new to me. So I continued to build these relationships, and I continued to recruit people and bring people in. And I gathered people that I trusted, people I knew, old friends that were with it, that were part of it. Of course, as I've already, as you should know, the Status Initiative is not this page. This page is a recruitment tool, and it is the faceplate for our activity. It's meant to be a representative of us and what we're trying to do. But the initiative's been around for a long while. It's been around since the towers fell, and it was something else even then before that. And so there are people involved with it already that I brought in. I got them involved now in the page, and I just continue to build those relationships and build that webbing, and then eventually, of course, move on to building a network with other groups, other initiatives, other people out there. But for the most part, for a while, it was just me meeting you guys, and a lot of people, I would meet them. As I said, I had a kind of an accident that unlocked me, that cracking me open that happened when my heart was broken. It let me get out. It let the me inside get loose and broke loose the real me, and I remember myself now. I remember everything. I remember more than I should now. So I know myself very well, and I'm very comfortable being me. And so when I speak to people, I kind of have a sense of knowing them too. Very friendly with people and very outgoing, very forthright. And a lot of people were uncomfortable with that. They didn't understand why I would be so friendly and so honest, forward. And so they'd get mad at me. Some of them would blow up on me. Some of them would just block me. All right. And that hurts. It hurts a lot. It really sucks. Still, it sucks every time. But back then, I mean, it was particularly bad because, again, this was all new to me, and I had never even fathomed of somebody blocking me. That, like, how does that happen? But it did, and it did a lot, and it was very painful, very distressing, very stressful. And as I continued to pull this thing together and to manage it, as I continued to coordinate everything, it got more stressful, it got more difficult. And when people strayed away, when people slacked off, when people didn't do what they said they would do, didn't post their experiences when they're supposed to. When things went awry, it was very difficult to keep it on track and fight for that, especially considering that people can just kind of ignore your messages. They don't have to respond. But I managed to get things going and pull it together and get things rolling as best I could, and I began to notice certain patterns. First, the themes. I noticed that most of you, as we grew in number, and I started, you know, interacting with more and more of you, and of course, this was training that allowed for me to become faster in that regard. Picked up my speed, got me moving, really using that impulse to get the brain running and to be up coordinated with that and up to speed with all of you guys at once. Get many things done at one time, carry on 20 or so different conversations at a time. I gained the capacity for that. I worked it like a muscle, and it was rewarding. It felt great to do that, and I received an abundance of energy in return for it because that's how the world works. Your attention is what directs your energy, and I'm effectively gathering attention from all of you and pulling attention into the initiative, and yes, I'm benefiting from that a great deal. It's enhancing me, it's improving me, it's allowing for me to gain the speed and momentum I require to do this, to do this job, this task. It's work, it's a calling, it's not a job. But to undertake this calling and be who and what I am here, I'm being provided an ample sum of energy for taking on these cues and taking that lead, and just taking that lead, just moving like that, just putting yourself out there, being motivated, trying to motivate other people, motivating other people, inspiring them, seeing how that affects their lives, but most importantly, being motivated, putting yourself forward, and putting forth that fight to make something happen that you have a passion for. It it really boosts you. It really makes you feel great. It's the best kind of exercise there is. I would recommend this to anyone who wants to try it. I really wouldn't recommend anything over it. It's amazing. But it was tough in the beginning. It was tough to keep up, to gain that speed, and to figure out how to handle things, and especially mistakes that I made, you know, where maybe I hurt people's feelings. Sometimes I blew up. Sometimes I lost my shit. I'm not the very coolest guy. I'm pretty cool, but I'm not perfect. I fuck up a lot, and I make mistakes with people, and even now, still, I make mistakes from time to time. Most often, I'm a little too pushy with my team, and I apologize for that. But I mean, you guys, you're still here for a reason, and you get me. You understand how much this means to me particularly. So you know bear that in mind. I'm not trying to be an asshole, you know that, and I'm sorry that I push you guys a little too hard and I get up on your cases. But I mean, on one hand, I'm being friendly, I'm joking around. On the other hand, you do understand what drives me and how important it is to me. So I'm never gonna be mad at you guys. Don't worry about that. I'm never gonna be like actually upset with you. But I am going to bitch at you a lot. In any case, I started noticing after dealing with seeing the themes coordinate, that when I spoke to more and more people, that I would see that when they had issues, their issues would line up. They would all have very similar issues, if not the same issues. And that's what led me to making the themes, to deciding themes, because I can see them coming in advance. Everybody's dilemmas, or everybody's concerns, or everybody's presence would start to line up along this theme, and I can see it coming. And so I make that the next theme of the week, or now 2 weeks. I've decided we should have more time to get involved because you guys are very slow. It takes most of you, a while to even check in on the page, let alone do anything. You spawned a message, you spawned a post from a week ago, and that's why I have to coordinate things in advance. That's why I have to have everything moving, in a very precise manner in advance, because it's going to affect people in the future. So it's tough. It's a tough gig. It's very challenging, but it's very rewarding when you get the hang of it. There's nothing else like it. It's amazing. And anyways, I started noticing that people were coordinating along the lines of these teams, and then I started noticing that people were affecting each other. Certain things that happen with certain people would affect other people. Some of them are in contact, or some of them have something to do with each other, but even if they don't, even if they have no connection to each other, really, their connection is the initiative, and they do affect each other. And there are patterns to that. And I was able to observe that, and I was able to figure it out, coordinate it, and figure out not only how to watch for these patterns and how to follow them, but how to direct them and coordinate them. And that is, in fact, what makes me the director. That is my task. I'm not just posting songs, guys. When I post those songs, they have very specific effects on very specific people. I, Everything that I'm doing has a purpose and a reason. Sometimes it goes awry, doesn't always go to plan, but there is a plan. There's always a plan, and it's the world's plan. I'm directing it, and I have plans in mind, but the world is providing the cues. The world is making things happen, and often it doesn't go to my plan, but it works out perfectly, and I see that too. It always works out. The world has a plan for us, and so long as we're with it, fighting for a good thing, for a good cause, and we observe protocol, the world is going to back us and get us to where we're going. At any rate, I guess the gist of it is that starting out, it was troublesome, it was difficult, but it was enthusing. It was challenging me, and it was getting my interest. It was very interesting to do this, and I was very happy with the progress I was able to make. And so I started getting more and more into it until, and of course, I fell in love again, and that took some time. And I played around with that using the initiative to help that along, and it worked. It worked, of course. I mean, I'm not, I'm kind of a jackass, but I am, somewhat of a public figure here too that has a little pull with the ladies sometimes. But I'm being a bit of a celebrity amongst our whole 300 people. But we're going to have a big audience soon. Watch. And you guys are all going to be a part of it. Anybody that wants to jump in, and remember, you can post anything you want, and it's going to get across to everyone that we deal with. There are people watching already, people watching us to see how we operate, people that are aware that our team's been put together, and they're watching to see how things go already. Some of them are talking to me about it too, but again, those outside influences are not getting through to you yet. They're not allowed to. They're cut off. But um, these things are happening, and you can post whatever messages you want, and they will get across to our larger audience, and we will promote them. If you're a member and you post something for a cause that you want to fight for, and it's not breaking protocol, we will promote it, we will support it, we will in fact fight with you on it. But anyways, the task went from being troublesome and tedious, cumbersome, to uh, gaining momentum and being more of a well-oiled machine, as it were. And I started fine-tuning my ability to do this and figuring out exactly how to run spot casting and make things happen, the way that we need them to, coordinate certain events, put things together, pull in opportunities. All of this has come together in such a way as to where now it's really just it's boosting me so much, and it feels so great to be this for you guys and to do this, that uh, as far as falling in love is concerned, romantic aspect, it's not something I really care so much about anymore. I don't have time for it, and too bad. It's not something that I suppose if I met the lady tomorrow, I'd probably take a shot, but I'm certainly not looking. This is pulling all my time. This is pulling all my attention, and I love it dearly. No, even when it's bad, even when it's going bad, which it does. It when things get rocky and kind of flatten out, rocky and flatten out, when things start to hang, people are not cooperating, and people miss their cues, people miss synchronicities and miss opportunities to get things done, when people say they're going to do things and they don't, when we go for a while without anybody posting or any new members, When these things happen, it's really a crush on me. It really, really pulls me down. But I mean, it can't pull me down enough to stop me, but it does pull me down and it does hold me back and it makes me feel awful. So I mean, please try to keep up if you guys can. If, at the very least, if you propose something, do it. Don't just say you're going to do something and then blow it off. If I ask you to do something and you say you're going to, please follow through on your word. I understand if some critical issue comes up or emergency situation, but it's not often that an emergency situation really pops up. You guys just kind of forget often. And just, especially for the directive, you guys are receiving the training videos that I'm posting, and then what I'm teaching you in those training videos is particularly helpful along those lines. Um, when I tell you that it's going to be rewarding and that you're going to get the energy you need, when I tell you that the time you need is going to be accumulated, when I tell you that you would love this, I'm not lying. You will when you start to do it. And again, none of you have to be involved on that level, but if you could see the way that your posts affect other people and the good that you're actually doing by following through with what needs to be done, I think you'd feel great about it. And you guys in the directive, full well how good it feels to be coordinated and along those lines, the way that we've been working together and producing effects, getting things going. You guys know that that feels great, and it can feel better and better and better so long as we just stick together as a team. And for the members, uh, what I could try to do is maybe if you post something, I could try to give you an evidence of what it's affecting and how it's doing, give you an example when something pops up. I guess, I don't know, maybe, make you aware of it. But you're supposed to, for every single one of you, everything that you post, it doesn't matter what it is. If you post something, it's for a reason. And if you're going to post something and you feel like you're going to, you think to, and you don't, you just blew it. You just missed that. And that sucks for everyone. But when you do go through with it and when you guys contribute, it does affect a lot of change and it's great for everyone. And the littlest things matter. That's that's the experience I've taken out of this. The very littlest things matter. They matter a lot, most especially to me. I feel it full force right off the bat. It hits me in the face first thing, and then it spreads out to everybody else that could have been affected by it, should have been affected by it, and are not. It spreads out to people who are in fact directly affected by you not doing it. It spreads out through the network of relationships and planning that I've put forth, coordination to, take the momentum you provide with that post and just fly with it. And if you guys had followed through on all your words, or even like 80% of them, this thing would really be going. We'd already be very, very, very far ahead. We'd have that 500 member mark and more, and we would be blowing the fuck up in this world. And that's why I stress out that we're behind, that we're not moving fast enough. We're not moving fast enough. We are behind. We're late, and we don't have forever left to do this. We do need to pick up the pace and work at this. And so I suppose ultimately I could say that just I hope you guys can somehow appreciate that my experience of being this for you is it is stressing. It's I love it like nothing else. I don't really care for much of anything else so much outside of my work, which is just an extension of this. My work is meant to build upon this and will someday, hopefully not too far from now, be building upon this. But everything, it's all I care about. It's my entire life. This is my heart and soul. You guys are my purpose and my reason in every respect. So please try to understand that that's the experience I'm having. When you guys say you're going to help out here and you're going to contribute, be a part of this, and you don't, when people lose enthusiasm because other people didn't do what they were supposed to, when things just don't go, and ultimately simply because somebody didn't have a second. I mean, it doesn't take more than a minute to post something. You do have the time. You have the time. You're here so you have the interest. You just, I don't know what to do to give you the motivation, but you got to get it. You're going to see big changes happen. Things are going to happen, and it's going to be a while down the line that you're still going to be seeing how you affected so many people. Everything you guys do is a big deal here. So, I mean, believe me or don't, but I can see it. I have the vantage point, and I'm able to see it. So I'm not bullshitting. And ultimately, again, that's my experience, and I want for you to appreciate that. That my experience of being director is, you know, my my sensibilities, or my sense in and of itself, of being overjoyed and elated and lifted and boosted and just overflowing with greatness and feeling so much love and joy, or being kind of fearful and stressed and awful and down and beat up and just dragged through the mud. That scale is, weighed out by you. It's hanging on the edge of you guys. So before this train hits, please follow through. Please get active. Come on, let's kick ass here. We do so well when you guys want it. I love you all. It's gonna be goodbye for a little while, I suppose. I'm still gonna be around as much as I possibly can, but I won't be gone entirely. But I won't ever really be gone entirely. But for those of you that I deal with on a daily basis, I'm not gonna be in touch with you for a while. And I just want you to know that I wouldn't be anywhere else if I didn't have to. I'd be with you guys. I'd be there for you every second that I could if I were able. But I need to be elsewhere to get things done now, and I'm going to leave you in capable hands of people I trust. So again, I love you all dearly. Kila Salai, Terve Uni Siari, Namaste.